What's up, everyone? It's your girl, inClar, and I'll be going live in a couple of minutes with Cristopolis for a live interview on Instagram. So make sure you guys tune in. All you gotta do is just click on my Instagram live, and boom, you get to see me get interviewed. So make sure you guys tune in, show some love, drop a comment. I'll make sure I shout you out if I see your comment. But first, I gotta do a shot. So cheers. Alright, let's do this shit.
From Los Angeles, California, via the Inland Empire, we have rapper and singer inClar3. She's been hard at work, performing rigorously, and she recently released a new song and video called So In Love. We're going to talk to her about her recent release, her recent shows, upcoming music, and what she's got coming next. Let's bring her in.
Hey.
Peace, Queen. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm so good. It's such an honor to have you on the Cristopolis Show. Talk about your incredible career. You've been performing so much, right? You had a show like yesterday.
Yes.
Why don't we jump right into that, right? Your live performance. A lot of artists, especially in this age with the home studio, the recordings, people recording stuff on the phones, they don't get on stage. They don't go out and perform the way that you do. Talk to us about what that means to you.
As far as performing goes, I do love it. I love that part of it. I think it's very important to get out there and show your talent. I know the internet is kind of, more popular a way to get out there these days, but I believe, introducing yourself to people, letting them know like the true you, that takes going out there, and shaking people's hands, taking pictures with them, doing autographs, like it makes a difference. You have more of a connection with your fans. So it's important to do, and also I love doing it. I've always loved being on stage. Ever since I was little, I would do like talent shows or even like the national anthem for my softball games. So it's just something I've always loved to do, is just get up there and sing on the microphone. So yeah.
When you perform, as an artist that raps very well and sings very well, is there like a difference, between doing each of those live on stage in front of people? Is one harder than another for you? Talk to us about, is it interchangeable? You just singing, rapping, everything?
They're kind of both challenging, I'd say. As far as singing goes, it's more challenging for me because I do rap more. So I'd say I'm better at rapping, like when I perform. The challenge with rapping is the breathing. Sometimes I get so caught up just like going so fast. And even when I write songs, I try to like make sure I have pauses in between, because sometimes you just write. And then when you're performing, it's like, oh, shoot, like this is kind of hard to do. So I'd say for rapping, it's just like learning my breathing, when to take breaths, and just trying to like not get too ahead of myself. And then for singing, it's just hitting those notes. I try not to do vocals on the background of all my performances. There are certain songs where I didn't know that. So when I recorded it, that's all I have, But now when I go to the studio, I'll ask for like a show version. And that way I'll have some parts where it's like a cappella, because people like to see that, like, to make sure you can actually do what you're doing, So I'd say it's challenging when I'm singing on, those certain songs where it's just raw vocals, because you can mess up at any moment, but the practice makes perfect. So the more you do it, the easier it gets.
That's dope. So yesterday you had a show. You were just performing yesterday.
Yes.
Talk to us about that event and who you performed with.
Event, it was actually a fundraiser for a little boy. His name is Lewis, and I believe he's battling cancer. So he's a cute, special little boy. He's very young, and he's fighting this disease. And so we just all came together to do a little fundraiser. And I think it was pretty cool though, because he was front and center, for all the performances. He was right there, so it's like he got his own little like concert. So it was a special event. It's cool when it's for a cause, because I go out there and I'm having fun. I'm showcasing my talent, but it's also for a cause. So that's what that was about yesterday. It was called Love for Lewis. It was thrown by Iceberg. I believe it's called Culture Rich Events. So yeah, it was a good time.
The footage that you posted. I think if people go on your story today, if they haven't seen it yet, they can still see clips of that.
Yes.
And you performing. Do you have any shows coming up in the near future?
What I have next? I have a show in Pomona, I believe, and that one is it's like a breakfast mimosa show, and it's before the sugar-free show. I guess he's coming later that night. So I have that coming up. I believe it's May 17th, and then I have so many, and I have like 4 events, but so I don't know which days, but I have Lido Creek. It's called California Show Offs, and I believe there's one more. There's a lot. So I actually want to post like a flyer with all the dates and all the locations on one, just to keep it
Yeah, kind of
organized. Because
like a tour, right? It's
yeah,
not like a
honestly,
tour, but you need to organize it so
yeah,
that people know, right?
yeah. So for those of you that are like wondering my next dates, I'll make sure to put the flyers up with all the information. So I gotta like probably 4 coming up this next month.
That's so dope. At 4 shows in a month,
Yeah.
for like urban artists is a lot. Like
Hmm.
they a lot of MCs and singers, R&B singers, don't go out and perform and hit the streets like that. That's incredible, especially how you mentioned like nowadays in the internet age, people just want to jump on social media.
Hmm.
It's really amazing what we can do with these mediums,
Yeah.
but to be on stage and actually show your skills, you got to really have it.
Yeah. And then honestly, if you do blow up one day, like you want to have that practice, because it's not easy. I'm sure like right now, I even like it takes practice to just, put on a show at these smaller
Yeah.
events. But you see like the Grammys and, where they're like flying up in the air and performing, like you're going to want to have that practice. So, it's better to get it in now rather than later and be like, oh, shoot, like I have to do this part too.
Yeah, that's awesome. You recently released a song
Hmm.
called So in Love. Beautiful
Thank you.
song. Really, really dope music video. In this song, you're mostly singing,
Hmm.
right? So, like, how you mentioned before, like, most of the time you're rapping and then you will lace a little, you'll drop a little singing in it. But this one, you're
Yeah.
singing. You're singing. Can you talk to us about the inspiration behind that song?
Yeah. So for this one, I do a lot of lowrider shows, and so for that certain crowd, you want to have oldies. And I didn't have any. I would just do raps, and like sometimes if I had R&B, I'd sing them. But I was like, you know what? I need to have an oldie, and there is a lot of female and even male artists that go and they'll perform covers of oldies.
Mhm.
And I think that's cool too, because the crowd loves that type of music that they know.
Yeah.
So to have someone else like a newer artist singing it, it's pretty cool. But for me, I'm like, if I'm gonna do an oldie, I want to try to make my own, and it's hard because it's a whole different generation, a whole different style. So to try to recreate that, it was a challenge. But I had found a beat like I want to say like 2 years ago on YouTube. It was like an oldie style beat,
Yeah.
and I wrote like the first half of the song, and then I lost the beat, and I never finished it. And then and I kind of like, because I wasn't writing it for that reason at the time. I wasn't really doing much shows. It's just I found it, and I was like, okay, let me do like an older type song. And I never finished it, kind of forgot about it. And then I started doing these shows, and I'm like, okay, I need an oldie. I was like, wait, I have that one, and I lost the beat. So I was like, oh, shoot. So I ended up finishing writing it without a beat. I was just kind of like following the melody I had already went with.
Yeah.
And then I went to a studio. His name is Joe. I think it's Little Green Studios in Riverside. And he's well known for because some producers are good with like the computer, like making beats
Yeah.
that way. Well, this one is more like an artist, like with the live instruments.
Yeah.
So I went to him and I was like, hey, I have like this beat. I want it oldie styled, or no, I have this song. And I sang it to him, and then he got his guitar and just started like building around it, and he made like my own oldie style like guitar beat. So
He
yeah,
made it like old school way. Like he really built
yeah.
it.
He brought like different guitars, and like he did his little thing on the computer too, but all the instruments you hear, they're live. So it's pretty cool. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like I feel like that's kind of the way you need to go about making a song like that,
Yeah.
because that's how they did it back in the day, and that's what I'm trying to do. So yeah, and it came out pretty good. And when I perform it, people love it. I gotta like, because like I have people that support my rap, but some people are like, oh, I want to hear you
Yeah.
sing. So I'm like, okay, here you go. Like there's that one for you. So I'm glad to make like all types of fans happy with that one.
Yeah, because different people like your music, and if you're doing like the lowrider shows,
Hmm.
you have to have like the lowrider show set,
Yeah,
right? Like
exactly.
where people could dance. They want to like show each
Yeah.
other and dance. That's cool. Given the success of the song, and the beautiful video, you look great in that video.
Thank you.
You were able to kind of like really be
Mhm.
feminine in that video. Do you think you'll do more music like that, or was this kind of like you scratched that itch and now you're going back to giving them the bars?
Honestly, I've been working like as far as writing. I've been doing kind of both. Like I'm working on a rap song. I'm working on like an R&B song, and I do want to do another oldie. Definitely, I want to have like a catalog of oldies actually. So
Yeah.
that's not something I'm planning to stop. I don't know if you've heard an oldie. It's called "What Can I Do," and I forgot who it's by. I know Little Rob did like a remix of it, And that's kind of what I'm working on right now is my own. It's like, what can I do? I'm working on something like that. And also I do like a melody of Richie Valens. I think his song Oh Donna. Like the
Yeah.
melody in it, I kind of put that in the song too. So it's a mixture of those two oldies.
Yeah.
And again, I don't have a beat. It's just kind of me writing because I work at Amazon and it's really boring sometimes. So I'll be in my
Yeah.
head just like writing lyrics, and I kind of went from that hook on what can I do and just started writing, and then I ended up doing the melody for the Richie Valens song. So again, I'm gonna finish writing that up this week. It's almost done, and I'm gonna go to that same studio with Joe from Riverside and have him build a beat around it on the 7th. So hopefully, it comes out as planned, and then I'll have another similar song like that.
That's dope. Right, because if he made a hit the first time,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? You bring it
Yeah, I'm
back to
like,
him.
certain producers, you need to know, like, if you want like a certain type of song. Like, I have a producer that could do EDM beats, and I'm like, oh shoot, like I'm not gonna go to the oldie guy and ask him to do an EDM
Right,
beat.
right,
Like,
right.
you have to know where people like have their talent at and work with them, like. So
That's
I'll
true.
definitely go back to him for that.
The So, for So in Love, to kind of wrap up that conversation,
Hmm.
what was it like the first time you performed it at like one of the car shows?
It was cool. Honestly, just I would say like, well, it was cool performing it, but I would say just the feeling I had after it was
Yeah,
recorded. I remember like driving, home from the studio and playing it in my car, and like I did cry a little bit
yeah,
just because it's like I did that, like I had a goal. I wanted to have my own type of oldie,
yeah,
and I did it without like a beat because it's different writing that way. I know some people write that way, but for me that was new to me, and I did
yeah,
it. And so I think that was the feeling that I felt like being accomplished, just playing it in the car and then performing it. It's nice because with the lowrider scene, the crowd could be tough sometimes because,
yeah,
it is older heads and it's families, and so it is difficult sometimes. But when I did that oldie, a lot of people, like, they're not scared to come and show support, like they're right there front and center, like recording. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm working on a rap song. I'm working on like a lot of different genres right now. It's kind of for all my different moods, so it's kind of all over the place. And then it just depends on what studios I go to, what I get recorded, and just go from there.
you you have a recent project released about a year ago
Hmm.
called Lights Out. Dope project. Beautiful songs on there. One that really stands out is Where I'm From. Very vulnerable song where you kind of talk about your life and people really get to know you. Are you working on a new album? Are you approaching this as more kind of like you're gonna do singles? What Sinclair got coming for the people next?
Well, just to like give a shout out real quick, now that you mentioned that song, Where I'm From, it is produced. The beat was produced by Blanco Beats, and he's actually someone I've never met yet. I found him on Facebook, I believe, like a couple years ago when I had first started, and he made that beat and did it as like a challenge for multiple artists to write to record, and whoever had the best one he put like on all platforms. And then I ended up really liking it, so I added it to my album as well. So just a quick shout out to him, Blanco Beats. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have had that track.
Yeah.
And as far as what I'm working on now, that album took me a while actually. It took me like 3 years, just like since the moment I knew I wanted to do it to the moment I actually, put it out. Because there's a lot that goes into it. But now that that's done, I kind of don't want to jump into, the stress of another project.
Yeah.
So I'm probably just gonna do singles. I dropped the oldie. I do have a song that's it's waiting to drop actually. It has a video and everything as well. Shout out to J Media, he did the video, and it is like a R&B, like a love type song. So that one I should be dropping probably this Friday. I might as
Oh
well. I've
wow.
been just holding on to it. Yeah, I've been holding on to it. I was waiting for the cover art to get done, but that got done as well. So I'm like, now I have no reason to hold on to it. So I'm probably gonna drop it this week, and I don't know, just see what I get done next. And just go from there. I try not to plan too ahead because it could get stressful. Especially with shows and all that.
You've got a lot of shows coming up too, so it's like you have to. They're kind of two different things,
Yeah,
right? The
well, there's a
show,
lot.
it's a lot. The show preparation, like you talked about,
Hmm.
not having backing vocals all the time and things like that.
Yeah.
You have to know your lyrics. You got to hit the notes. You got to hit the raps. You got to, you have to design the
Yes.
show. You got to know what you're going to be doing when you're on stage,
Yeah.
right? Because that whole kind of like that part of it's a whole other art. And on
Hmm.
top of that, the new recordings.
Yes.
So
And then writing and promoting, like the media side of things, like and then working a full-time job, like it could be a lot, but like it's what I want to do. So if you have that drive, like you'll make it happen. But that doesn't mean it's easy. You know, it does take a lot of effort and patience, and you know, you lose some sleep sometimes. So
Shout out Blanco Beats in the comments
Blanco
right there. We were talking about,
beats, woo, woo.
yeah, we were talking about the dope song that he produced on the album Lights Out called Where I'm From.
Yeah.
Incredible song. Highly recommended for folks to go check it out. What was the thought behind the name of the album Lights Out?
Oh, so the name of the album actually it's kind of like you wouldn't think that's the reason, you know. But when I had played sports, I played softball for like 7 years growing up, and I played like on a rec team, and I also played on a high school. And for the rec team, my dad was actually my coach. And when I first started, I was very small and I didn't know what I was doing, you know. But my dad has always been kind of like I would say like on my ass, you know, like with school, like I had to be good at that. I had to be good at everything I did, you know.
Yeah.
So I joined this team and he was my coach. So it was like a lot of pressure, but I ended up being really good at softball. It took me like 2 years to really get good, but we got good. We formed a team. Like I was able to have some of my friends come on the team, you know, from school and all that. So it became like a big thing, like a big part of my life. And we became a really good team, like very competitive, you know, and kind of like fierce. Like, I don't know, we had like that swag to us. And our
Yeah.
team was called Lights Out. And I don't know what like originally how we came up with it, but my dad was like, we were called the Lightning Bolts actually for like the first couple years because that was the name we were given like by the rec center, you know.
Yeah.
And we're like, you know what, we're able to change it, so we're like, let's do Lights Out, like, you know. And I'm like, okay, I like it. And our colors were green, like a lime green and black. And I just remember like our team being so like not aggressive, but just very like serious and like, you know, we'd go and we'd like play the game like and we did really good and we were like a team and I don't know, just like that vibe we
Yeah.
had is like
You were there to win.
yeah, like you know, we were like there to handle it. And so with my album, it's kind of the same thing, you know. It's like it has that same energy, like competitive and you know, just like putting yourself out there like you're worth something, you know, and like you're there to win. So I don't know, it just felt right to name it that. And I feel like even though people don't know it's called like that's the reason behind it, I feel like if they were to hear it, they're like, oh, that sounds hard, you know, that
Yeah.
sounds cool. So
Yeah.
it kind of worked both ways, you know.
Yeah, now that makes it like so personal. It's
Hmm.
such a personal part of your life that you put into a very personal project.
Yeah, it's like back then I would have never imagined like, oh, I'm gonna name my album this, you know, because I didn't think I'd be like making an album, you know. But now that I'm older, it's like I still hold on to those moments, you know,
Yeah,
and like try to like put it in to my life somehow today. So
absolutely. There's so many things that people learn in sports. It's like how to come back when you're
hmm
down, how to work for things, the discipline, the
yeah,
practice, right? All of that stuff. There's correlations definitely between hip hop and sports,
yes,
the competitive nature of
hmm
hip hop. Um, you just mentioned that you're going to be dropping a song probably coming up this
hmm
weekend. Can you talk to us more about that
yeah.
song and give us some details about it?
Yeah, it's gonna be actually called Wish I Knew, and I wrote it, I want to say like maybe 2 years ago, and it was about like a past relationship I was in, and I wasn't like I was happy at first, but it came to a point where I wasn't happy,
Yeah,
you know, and but for me it's hard for me to let go of people, so I'll hold on till I can't no more,
yeah,
you know. So I was kind
mm,
of at that like time of our relationship where it's like I was still holding on, but it was just I felt like it wasn't worth it, you know, and I wasn't happy and I knew it was time to walk away. And when I'm in situations like that where like you just have a lot of emotion and you don't really know what to do, I end up writing songs about it, you know. So I remember like driving home and just like writing about it just to let out my emotions, you know.
yeah,
And yeah, so it's an old song, definitely. It's been a minute. I never like there's a lot of songs I'll write at that moment where I'm feeling that type of way and just kind of like get over it and kind of forget about it. But I had the opportunity to do a video with J Media, and he wanted to do like because he does videos for movies, and so he wanted to do a song with like a storyline.
yeah,
And I was like, well, I have this one, you know, it was already recorded and everything. So I was like, all right, let's just do this because it is something girls could relate
yeah,
to, you know, just kind of being in a relationship, you love that person, but you like it's called Wish I Knew, so it's like almost like you wish that you knew that they loved you, you know, because there's a lot of times where people say they love you but they don't show it, especially in relationships, you know. So yeah, I don't know, I'm gonna drop it this week and hopefully everyone likes it. It is a different style, it's like more R&B, and I'm singing the whole time. I do kind of rap, but it's like a soft like singing voice, you know. So
yeah. That's
Yeah,
dope.
it's gonna
So
be good.
so you've got So in Love, the oldie style, that we opened up talking about.
Hmm.
And then you've got some more kind of oldie style things that you're working on. And then you've got
Yeah.
this other one that's going to be R&B. So a lot of singing recently.
Yeah, I've been trying to, because my rap album was mostly rap. There's some songs I've sang, but I feel like I've done that genre, like I proved that I could rap,
Yeah.
whether people want to give me the credit or not, like it's like there's my rap album, there's that
No,
type
you're
of style, and
dropping
I like it.
bars. I mean, where
Yeah,
I'm
I feel like I
from,
get
dope.
creative.
I mean, like, yeah, you're getting it in, and it's tough too.
Yeah,
You know
because
what I'm saying? I'll smack you. Like, I'll smack you. Don't
Hey, there's a
find
lot of
out.
times. Yeah, fuck around, find out. There's a lot of
Exactly.
times where people like will give me credit for my singing, and they're like, "Oh, but like don't rap," and it's like I could rap, like. So that's kind of frustrating, is that people don't want to be like, even though I'm a girl, like, yeah, and maybe I don't rap about the same type of things that guys rap about because I haven't, I'm not experiencing that type of life.
Yeah.
But I feel like I could rap, it does take effort, like rhyming and changing up your flow, like so. But I did that, I did my rap, and I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna rap no more because I do love
Yeah.
it. And if I do come across a beat and if I'm feeling some type of way, I'll write that type of genre. But right now, I do want to show that I could do both. I also want to do EDM too, like rave type music. So yeah, I want to do everything, like maybe even country, because I want to have like I want to show like people that I could do. I'm versatile, like I could do anything, and like I feel like one thing that makes me want to do that is because like with my family, I have a big family and they don't really like my music, like my aunts and cousins and stuff. They don't like it because they don't like rap, and I don't blame them. Like, yeah, and I'm cussing a little bit, and it's just kind of too much for them. And so when I had released the So in Love song, I had a lot of like my aunts like, oh, I love this song, like this and that. I'm like, okay, like just letting you know I could do that for you, But like for me, I dropped music because of like what I like.
Yeah.
And I did the rap because I was feeling like really, I was going through a lot at the time, and I was like had a lot of anger.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where you hear like the aggressive side, the confident side. But now I'm
Swagger.
like ready to, just put more like what is it, a portfolio like for all my type of fans. So
Yeah. That's a great
yeah.
story. I mean, that really like everybody's got family, right? Everybody's got
Hmm.
deals and Diaz, and
Yeah.
and they've got. So it's really interesting as an artist to listen to how you experienced your music, kind of crossing genres, crossing generations into people within your own that you see at the cookout and you see
Hmm.
at like on the weekend, and they're like, that one's dope, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I got more where that came from,
Yeah,
trust.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like a little accomplishment.
Hmm. So you mentioned that you wanted to do some EDM also. Have you done any, vocals over EDM before? Or will this be a first?
I actually haven't. I don't have much experience with it, but I did come across a beat that's like EDM. It's kind of I like house music. I don't really like the dubstep or like hard style stuff.
Yeah.
So I came across a beat that's like that, like kind of I call it dreamy vibes. Like you're just like in a dream, like kind of dancing. And I came across a beat and I wrote to it, and it is kind of challenging because it's different. Like you don't really have a. I wouldn't say you have like a hook and a verse and a hook. It's more like kind of random. Like there's EDM songs where they just say the same thing over and
Yeah.
over again. Or they don't say nothing. Like that's like so it is challenging, but I feel like I accomplished it. I think I did kind of write like structured like a rap song, I'd say, like a hook and this and that, but it sounds
Yeah.
good. So but with that, it is a YouTube beat, so I want to go to a producer that I know. Shout out to Jam Hits. He does that style of beat, so I want to go to him, and the same way I did the oldie where I go and sing what I have and have them build around it. That's my plan for that one. So
That's
it's
dope because house music's so big. How
yeah.
it's like
And,
massive, and there's a scene. It's a scene,
mm-hmm.
right? So like once you're connected in that scene, if you had like a song that did well, that's its own thing.
Yeah.
You can just do that circuit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would love to, do a EDC one day in Vegas. Like, so I'm like, but if I don't have that type of song, then I'll never get to that type of crowd. So I'm like, might as well start and then just see if I start doing that type of shows as well.
Yeah.
So,
And when we opened up the show, you had talked to us about, your recent performance and upcoming shows that you have. I want to make sure we capture that here right now, because this thing reset, right?
uh-huh.
So talk to us about your upcoming shows and where people can find out about where you're going to be performing if they want to come see you live?
Okay. So I believe we have May. I should have wrote this down. You know, I've been prepared.
Hey, whatever you
Um,
remember, right? Like the ones that come, that you'll
yeah,
do a post later.
I believe it's May. I know there's a weekend where I have a show on Saturday and Sunday. I want to say it's the 17th and the 18th. And that's going to be, one of them is the California Show Off show. That's going to be a big show. Shout out to Champ with California Show Offs. It's like a lowrider motorcycle show. But the cool thing about it is it's in Lido Creek. And that's kind of like a different scenery, you know, like trees and like mountains. So I did it last year. I believe I did it the last 2 years. So I'm gonna do it again this year. I have tickets to, I believe it's only $20 for like a carload of people.
That's
So
cool.
it's not too bad. I think I'll have a merch table as well. So I want to say the 18th. Might be the 17th
In the
though.
comments, we got May 18th.
May 18th. Okay. And I can't. You know what's weird is I can't see any of the comments. So I don't know why. But if you see any shout outs, let me know because people probably think I'm
I'll
ignoring
say
them.
this. I don't know why I can see it why you can't.
Yeah, I
But see,
don't
that's why
know.
we had that malfunction
Yeah.
also. So that's like the first time for that too.
Hey, but shout out to everyone that's like, you know, commenting. I can't see, but like I see you. But yeah, I have that show, and then I also have I believe the same weekend, Pomona. That's gonna be a G Summer events, and I'm opening. Well, it's like a show before the Sugar Free show. Sugar Free is gonna perform around 8 p.m. and I believe this one's like 12 to 6, and it's a mimosa brunch thing. So I don't know the exact dates, but I'll make sure to post flyers for you guys. Oh, and actually I have a big one, May 24th, I think. And I'm gonna be opening up for the Delphonics in Venice Beach. And so that one is actually my first oldie concert. Well, I've done like, you know, I've sang my oldie at lowrider shows, but this is my first time opening for like an oldies artist.
It's the
So
Delphonics. Come on. I mean,
yeah.
that's like I used to play their vinyl.
So I'm very excited. You know, Norman Carter is going to be there. So, and I've seen him perform, but now I'm opening for him. So,
Awesome.
shout out to, you know, the ones that had got me on the event. That's going to be a big one as well.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, May's a busy month.
That's so cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. The you I think it was today. I saw some sizzles of some upcoming music with Vanity. Can you talk to us about
Yes.
that?
So for that one, we gotta give a shout out to Charlie. Well, actually Angel Baby as well, because he connected me with Charlie. And Charlie has a songwriter, a Sam, and then also the producer. I forgot his name, but pretty much they reached out to me after Angel Baby had played my song "So in Love" on the radio, because I believe Charlie's a producer for the radio. And so yeah, they had contacted me, asked if I could come and sing like a rap for them, a verse. And that's something that I haven't done before, you know, as far as singing or rapping something that someone else had written before, because I write all my stuff. So I was kind of like hesitant on it, you know,
Right,
because
that's
that's not something that really.
very hip hop, right? You write your own
Yeah.
raps. You don't. It's a thing
hmm
within this genre.
Yeah, so I was kind of like, but you know, I kind of had to see it in a different perspective, and the way I see it is Sam, you know, he's a songwriter, and he'll like record a demo, but he's not really confident. I don't know if it's the confidence or what, but like he doesn't like doing that part, you know, the
Yeah.
performing part, the recording part. He likes writing and like kind of like, you know, bringing it together, like having other artists sing what he wrote.
Yeah.
And I kind of had to see it that way. Is like, you know, I want to bring his vision to life because I'm the missing puzzle piece for it, you know? Like
Yeah.
it's like me, like I like to write, but if I couldn't like put it out there the way I vision it, then I'd want someone else to do it, you know? So it's kind of like I seen it as like, all right, let's make it happen, you know? So I went, and Vanity's on the song. She sings most of the song, like the hook and the verse, and I just have like a little verse in there where I'm rapping. And yeah, it's a catchy song. It's very groovy. And for the video, they put a lot of effort into it. They booked a studio in LA, and we had to dress like 80s vibe. So it was something different too, you know, different style for me. But it was fun. Like I went to the thrift store and I got random stuff, little glasses, and yeah, so it was fun. And the video is looking good. Shout out to Bad Habits, Good Times. They're the ones doing the video. So it should be dropping soon. I think we have to do another scene of shooting, and then it's going to be done. So Yeah, that's it's gonna be exciting because it's something that someone else kind of
Yeah.
did, you know, like
Yeah.
I just kind of went and did what I was asked, and they're the ones doing all the planning, and so usually I'm doing all that.
That's
So
kind of fun. You can get used to that,
yeah,
right?
right. I'm like, okay, go ahead, just let me know.
Bring my coffee.
Yeah, exactly. And Vanity,
So,
shout out to her. She did an amazing job, you know. Me and her around like the same age, same style. So it's pretty cool like working with similar artists, you know, especially females because there's not
yeah,
really much of us.
yeah,
So yeah, shout out to her.
that's dope. Yeah, it's one of the, I think maybe the only genre of music in is hip hop where the what you described is basically songwriting in any genre of music. That's
Hmm.
how they do it. Many times the vocalist will write it, but oftentimes they don't. There's songwriters, producers, they all come together
Hmm.
to put together something amazing,
Yeah.
right? From the lyrics to the mixing production to the video.
Hmm.
It's hip hop where they're like, no, they gotta be your bars. And it's like
Yeah.
this weird rule. I'm not sure how it happened, where it happened,
Hmm.
but it's kind of like an unspoken thing,
Yeah,
right?
definitely. And
Yeah.
there's times where people will like they question if I write my own stuff, and I'm like, what the heck? Like I get a little defensive, like, yeah, I wrote that, you know, like I don't know. That's why I really try to tell a story in my music too, you know, just so people know, like, oh, that's actually coming from her, you
Yeah.
know. But it was cool, like the song that I was written or like to sing, it wasn't bad, you
Mhm.
know, like I liked it. I just had to practice it a few times to really like get a feel for it because it is something new, you know, and like for me, I feel like it's easy for me to perform or go in the studio and record because it's coming from my heart, you know.
Yeah.
But this one was like, oh shoot, like I didn't write this, so I had to find a way to like connect with it, you know, and really like perform it
Yeah.
well.
Well, in your raps and in your singing, are there artists that you really like that you would say maybe had an influence on you?
Well, I always say Tupac is a major artist that I look up to just
Yeah.
because of well, you know, he's Tupac, like he's amazing.
Yeah.
But I think the main thing is he puts feeling, you know, into like emotion into his art. It's not just like kind of like a lot of artists these days are just like having fun with it, I feel like, you know, and just kind of I don't know, I feel like there's no emotion or like no heart in it. And so Tupac, I've always looked up to him because any song you play by him, it's like you could feel that. You could feel the realness in
Yeah.
it. So that's something like I know I'm not Tupac. I'm not a guy, you know, like I'm
Yeah,
not trying
yeah,
to
yeah.
be him.
But his what he brought
Yeah.
inspires you.
Like in one of my songs, I'd be like, I say like next Tupac, Sinclair, Machiavelli, and I feel like people are like, what? Like you're not a guy. You're not gonna be Tupac, and it's like I know I'm not. You know, I'm not gonna be anything like that he is because we're all our own people, you know. And obviously, like I'm a girl and I'm young, and this I don't have those experiences of life that he had. But I want to make sure like I touch people like you know with my music the same way he did is like that's why he's very well known and respected still to this day because he made music that made people feel something
Yeah.
and I feel like that's something not a lot of people do like they just make music and it's cool you know it's lit for a while and then it just kind of like dies down and for me any song I make I want to make sure like it has a meaning and you know it makes people feel like relate whether they relate or they just feel what I'm feeling like that's my goal so Tupac is one that you know inspires me definitely. And as far as like female artists, I like Nicki Minaj a lot,
Yeah.
just because she does
She got so much
change up her flow.
swagger, right? Like she's
Yeah,
so
she's just like
confident.
yeah, like definitely that. She's one of the you know the ones that made it like up there. You know, she made it to the top. I feel like. And Doja Cat, I like her a lot, and it's mostly because they don't just rap; they also sing a little
Yeah.
bit. You know, and for me, that's one thing I try to do is like sing and rap, like switch up my flow, make it exciting, and that's something they do. So I like what is it, Janae
Yeah.
Aiko? I like her a lot too. Rihanna, because I feel like they make music and but they still keep that feminine side feminine I can't say the word feminine side to them you know where like
Mhm.
they're girly still because some of the artists the girls that rap they get kind of too like I feel like their voice is kind of too manly sometimes you
Too
know
husky. Yeah.
yeah it's like you don't really I know you want respect like from the guys and stuff but it's like you're still a woman you know and I like to try to still be like beautiful and petite you know
Yeah.
like I don't know so that's why I look up to those artists because they have that balance like yeah they're hard they could rap they could sing but they're still like you know they carry themselves in that way where it's like oh she's a lady you know so that's what I try to do.
That's awesome. You shared with us some big news, and it kind of occurred to me. You're going to be performing, opening for the Delphonics.
Hmm.
You've got dope songs like "So in Love," but you have a lot of material that's rhymes, right? Where you're dropping
Hmm.
bars. For that type of show, when you design that show, is there some rapping in it, or do you focus more on the
Um,
singing?
I don't think I'm gonna rap for that show.
Mhm.
No, I mean it would surprise people if I did, but I'll probably just stick to singing. That's why I kind of pushed to get a studio session booked with Joe because I want to do that "What Can I Do" song, and maybe I started working on like another one just the other day though, so it's really like not. I don't really have nothing like so far, but I want to have at least two more oldies by the 24th. I think the show is. So that gives me like a month, So I feel like
Yeah,
that's possible. So I'm gonna do "So in Love" for sure, and then hopefully I'll have two more oldies for that show. Probably.
you're so active right now. It's so
Yeah.
dope. Yeah, because dude, the studio sessions, the shows, the singles coming,
Hmm.
really dope. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard, but like even like last month, because I don't know, for some reason May is gonna be busy month. Like I've had people hitting me up for events, and even like with
Me,
this,
I
like
hit you up. Yeah,
this is still
absolutely.
considered April, but it is kind of like May. So I knew I had to get this done today. And then I have like a radio interview coming up. Like there's just so much, like photo
You're
shoots,
popping.
I have a video shoot.
Girl, you popping.
Yeah, it's hard, but it's like, you know what, like it's what I want to do. Like, so I'm gonna do it. Like if anyone offers like, like an interview like this or a show, I'm always like, like it could be tiring. And like I see my month like slowly just fill up, and I'm like, oh shoot, like maybe I should take that day just to relax. But I'm like, no, I can't, like, because that's an opportunity. And if you really want to get out there, you have to take every opportunity. So
That's dope.
yeah, here we are.
Yeah. Can you take us, into the creative process? You talk to us about how you work with different producers for different sounds, how
Hmm.
many of these producers they build it. Maybe if you could take us on, the journey in building a song. What's it like for you? How you write it, how you put it together, the vision.
So pretty much I start with like I have to be going through something. And that's what kind of bittersweet, is because in life you want peace and you want to just, like even me, I would avoid being in relationships while I'm doing this. But I came to realize like you kind of need those, like sometimes you need to be in a
That's the
relationship just to like,
material.
yeah, to write a love song. Cause like I started talking to someone and it's like I started writing like more like about that, that person. And I wouldn't have done that if I didn't take that chance to like be with them. And then you hate getting your heart broken or you hate when people do you wrong, but they do it and then boom, I end up writing about it and I look back like, oh shit, I made a good song. So I would feel like step one is, experiencing stuff, whether you like it or not. You have to go through pain or struggle or happiness, love, all that. Like, so I would say with life, you got to take everything in. And two, write about it instead of reacting, because me, there's times in the past where I do I know I don't look like an angry person, but I do kind of have like anger problems. Like I get, frustrated and I just kind of like lash out sometimes. Not crazy, but like
Right, right,
the
right.
people that know me, they know I get frustrated and it's just like sometimes it's hard for me to just like just be calm. And so I feel like with music, that's a big reason why I do it is because sometimes I'll feel like I think it's because I'm very emotional, I'll feel very sad about
Yeah.
something or mad. And it's like, instead of just reacting in a like negative way, I'm like, okay, let me just find a beat. And I look for a beat and I'm like, okay, this is like something like it just fits your vibe. And you just start writing. And there's a lot of songs where I've written, but I never finished. I think it's just because I used it at that time just to like let emotion out. And maybe later on, I'm like, oh, nah, like I'm past it, or maybe just, I just didn't finish it. So for the ones that you do finish, and if you fall in love with the song, you go, you record it. And then there's the fun part. You have to make sure you own the beat. You have to upload it
Right.
to, all platforms, get a cover art. That's the fun. I say fun, and it's not really fun because it's like, yeah. Okay, can you hear
I
me?
can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, pretty much one, experience life. Two, write about it. Three, record it. And four, do all like the cover art, uploading it, all like the business side to it, I'd say. And
Right.
then you promote it. You make sure if you drop a song, I know there's times where I've dropped songs and just kind of like moved on,
Yeah.
but make sure you promote it because that's the whole purpose. If you don't promote it, it's like no one's gonna hear it. Like with the oldie song, I dropped it months ago, and I just put like a reel of the video like months later, and people are like, I love this song, like, oh, inClar's new song, and I'm like, what the heck, like this is not new.
Yeah.
But it's like because I didn't promote it, you know. So now that I promote it, like you get everyone's attention. So I feel like that's the process, I
You
guess.
broke it down so well too. Like you really took us through all the steps.
Thank
That's
you.
really
Yeah, I
dope.
try. Sometimes I be talking too much, but I
Nah,
feel like,
it's good.
you know.
It's so like so. Imagine like somebody who hasn't done this before,
Mhm.
and they come across that little minute or 2 minutes where you broke it down. You gave them the whole recipe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Uh-huh.
really really
So
good.
hopefully they see themselves like in that position. And they're like, okay, step 3, you know,
Yeah,
step
exactly.
4.
They're gonna go get in a fight with their boyfriend. Boom! I got material now.
For real.
Have you ever seen the movie Shakespeare in Love?
I haven't. No.
I think you'll like that because he that's what he does. He
Okay.
basically like does like you know experiences and then goes and writes. Hmm.
Okay. Yeah. It's very important because back when because I was singing growing up, you know, just for fun, and I tried to write a song when I was a junior in high school. So I think I was what, like 16. I don't know. But I was younger, and my dad got me like a little keyboard, and I don't know how to read music still to this day, but I was just right there, you know, trying to play like a little melody. And I started writing, and it's just like I wrote 2 songs, but I didn't like them. Like I feel like it was just me, just like daydreaming, like what it would be like to be in love, or what would it be like to, you know, just write a song. It was hard. Like, and when I was done, I wasn't proud of it. It was kind of
Yeah,
just like whatever, you know. I showed my parents, and they're like, oh, like that's cool. And I'm like, I'm not gonna do this, you know, because I didn't have that like passion for it. So it wasn't until I turned, I want to say 20, and then where a lot changed for me, like the family breaking up, me moving, and just kind of like losing everything, and just trying to like figure out what to do next. That's when I was like, okay, let me try again to write about it. And then that's where I had the passion, and that's where it's like I was proud of what I was creating, you know. So definitely you need experiences to make art, I'd say.
that's amazing. Like how something that was difficult and challenging in your life turned into a career.
Yeah, exactly. And like, you know, with my mom, because my mom was there like through it all, you know, like when things were tough, she was always there. And like there's times where we're like, damn, like we went through a lot, you know. And she's like, yeah, but we never would have known like that you were gonna be like a rapper or a singer, you know. She's like, we know, but you wouldn't have done it. And I'm always like, okay, yeah, like everything happens for a reason, you know. So
Yeah,
at the time, it sucks that we went through that, but like where I'm at now, like it makes sense. You know, I feel like this is the reason, and it still pushes me to this day. Like I still want to, you know, bring my family together and make it how it used to be. And I feel like this is the only way I'm gonna do that. You know, I don't see it happening any other way. So, and at the end of the day, like this is why.
that's awesome. That's so
Yeah.
powerful. Wow,
Yeah.
wow. For people who want to you know make sure that they stay up to date with everything you have coming up, you know, the new music that you talked about, potential things in house and EDM music,
hmm
what are the different places, where do you live, right? Like what are the different social media and places where they can find you and make sure that they stay up to date?
Mostly, I say I'm mostly active on Instagram. If you guys are watching, you have my Instagram, you know. But you could find me on. I have a Twitter. I did not use it though. I have a Facebook as well because I know there's some like older fans that really use Facebook more than Instagram, you know. So you can find me anywhere. As far as like my music, I actually, oops, stuttering. Actually, have a TikTok as well, and everything's gonna be the same name. You just look up $ INCLAR3, and you could pretty much find me anywhere. But I would say I'm mostly active on Instagram. I do want to make a website soon. I kind of been lagging it on that, but I want to have my own site where people could find like, you know, how to order merch,
Yeah.
how to have the information for upcoming shows, all that. So stay tuned. Hopefully I'll have that done by the end of this month. It is like another investment, you
Hmm.
know, so, but that's
Hmm.
the goal.
That's awesome. The name, the spelling of the name, it looks dope. It looks really like it stands out. Did you create that?
Yeah, I did. My family always calls me Claire growing up because my real name is Clarissa. So my dad, mom, all of them would call me Claire. And when I told you when I was 20 and I started writing, that's when I really put like a lot of emotion. If you guys were to check out my SoundCloud, you hear all my first songs I've written, and they are more deep, you know, because it is kind of what I was going through at the time. But with that being said, with my music being more emotional, I was kind of like nervous to show people,
Yeah.
because obviously you're
It's
talking about like some deep stuff.
vulnerable. Yeah, it's like your
Yeah.
whole life.
Uh-huh. And then like sometimes people will kind of like laugh at artists. I feel like musicians, because it's like, oh, like you want to be a rapper, like it's funny. So for me to show something like vulnerable, it's kind of like, like
Yeah.
I know they're already kind of not taking me serious, and then for me to say like, so it was hard for me. Like I showed my mom and sister, and that's about it. And so with the name, it was my first time showing like a stranger, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like I was giving one of my mom's friends a ride around town, and when I lived in Reno at the time.
Yeah.
And he was like having me take him everywhere. Like I don't know, I'm always helping people. So my mom was like, "Can you take my friend to go do this?" And I don't know who he was, but I'm like, "Okay, mom, like I got you." So I'm driving this guy around, and we ended up at the Sinclair gas station, and we are just like parked right there while he was on his phone, like trying to figure out something. And I'm just there chilling, bored. And I was like, "Hey, you want to hear my music?" And he's like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, like I don't really show people, but like maybe like check it out, let me know what you think." So I had shown him, and he was just so excited. Like I don't know, because maybe he was on drugs or something, but he was super excited. And I was like, okay. Like I remember just looking at him, like, whoa, like this guy actually like likes my stuff, And it was my first time showing someone.
Yeah,
So I remember just like,
that's such a good story too. So you're like
yeah,
with kind of a random, kind of like a random stranger at a
yeah.
gas station in Reno, showing your music for the first time. Is an incredible
Yeah,
story.
it's kind of weird. So I just remember like tripping out on the way, like he was like his reaction. And I looked up and it said Sinclair, and we're at the gas station. I was like, oh, well, like Sinclair. I'm like, what, that maybe that would be my name. And one thing about it is the way that gas station spells it, it's CLAIR. And for me, like when I was little, my dad would always be like drawing, like, because he does cursive really well. So we'd be at the tables and he'd grab like an envelope or whatever, and we'd be talking, and he'd just be drawing like all our names, like really nice, like cursive. And we'd always find it later, like, oh, look, dad wrote our names. So I remember seeing it, and he would spell my name like that, like the gas station. And I'm like, Dad, why do you spell my name like that? Because for me, my name's Clarissa. I spell it CLARISSA.
Yeah.
And the way that the gas station spells it, the I is before the R. And I'm like, I don't like that. Like, just keep it CLAR and add a E at the end. I'm like, why are you putting the I? And I don't know why it always bothered me. I'm like, Dad, why do you spell it like that? He's like, I don't know, like just the way I spell it. I'm like, so I remember seeing it, and I was like, okay, it's spelled the way my dad spells it. I'm like, but I'm gonna spell it my way. So I'm gonna change it, and that's where I spell it CLARE. And so it became Sinclair, but I was like, I want to make it look cool, so put a $sign, and I'll put
We
a
gonna get
3,
this
and then a capital
money,
C.
right?
Yeah, money, of course, because money's the motive. And then with the 3, I just feel like you can have a $sign and then just an E at the end. Like you gotta have a 3 to kind of like balance it. And
Yeah.
then the capital C too. So it's kind of like Sinclair. I don't know. It's weird, but I like the way it looks. I like the way it sounds. So I
It
kind of
looks
just.
really cool. It's probably because like on certain websites, like certain handles, you
Hmm.
can't do the $sign,
My
right? That's the
Instagram.
only thing. You're like, why not?
Yeah, it's frustrating. And then even like some people like with like show flyers and stuff, like they won't put it. And I'm like, I have to like sometimes like tell them like, hey, can you put it like $sign, with a 3? And they're like I feel like it's a bother sometimes, but I'm like, hey, that's my name, like that's the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
yeah.
What a great kind of like origin story
Yeah.
of the name and of how you shared your first song.
Hmm.
Sinclair, you have a beautiful voice, incredible flow. I'm excited to hear all of the new music coming. It's really dope. You got all these shows coming up. As we start to wrap up, any shout outs that you want to give out? Any final jewels?
Yeah, I have a random shout out actually for my hairstylist. Her name is Michelle Zabata. Shout out to her. She actually did my hair just
Yeah,
recently.
it's on point.
And it's cool because I actually met her at an event. I think through like one of my friends. She came up to me and she's like, oh, I'm a hairstylist, here's my card. I gave her my card. She's like, I love your music, let me know, let me do your hair. And I do meet a lot of people like that have different talents. But for this one, like really liked her energy, and I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna go have her do my hair. So I got a haircut like last year. I had her color it, and then I just went back again. And so like we're locked in. Like she takes care of me. She makes my hair look good. And the cool thing is she does it because she believes in me, and she's kind of just like supportive of my music. And an artist needs to have good hair. So shout out to her. She's important to me. She's a good friend of mine. And then also shout out to Ashley. She's another one of my good friends. She's been through like by my side a lot lately at all these events. And you know, it's as a woman, it's kind of hard to do this type of stuff, and you don't want to be alone, you know, because people will try to take advantage, or you know, they just see you alone and they think you're weak, or like, you know, like something they could take advantage of. So for me, even if it's just like a homegirl and we're both small and we're both girls, but it's just having someone
together.
there. Yeah, it's just having someone by my side, you know, because like I said, I have a big family, but they don't really support it. My mom's in a different state. My brother, my dad kind of does his own thing. So just shout out to everyone that does come like to my shows and, you know, wants to be by my side. At my event yesterday, I had like a little group of people come. Shout out to Marcy, Young Duck. He actually supports my music a lot as well too. And also Young V. So shout out to everyone that's just there, you know, because I do have a lot of support like on the internet, and I appreciate it as well. But it's one thing to just have people actually pull up and, you know, be there. So the ones that are watching this, they know. I don't have to say everyone's name, but shout out to everyone that believes in me and, you know, is a part of this journey. So we're going up.
Yeah. Sinclair, it's an honor to have you on the Cristopolis Show. Thank you so much. I look forward to hearing the new music and, you know, to following you as you go all the way up.
Thank you. I appreciate you for having me.
Peace.
Bye. Bye-bye.